Good evening, everyone, and welcome out to the 4-Wide Racing All-Star Race here at Chicagoland Speedway. We are here tonight with all of the All-Stars from both the Cup League and the Truck League. They're all coming together. They're all going to race the Cup cars tonight. Going to be a little bit interesting because some of these guys haven't driven the Cup cars in a while. So tonight's race, we have 180 laps. We're going to cut that up into 3 stages. So the first stage is going to be 75 laps. And keep in mind that the last 15 laps of that stage, there are no cautions. So could get a little interesting, a little bit dicey there. Second stage, also 75 laps. Same rules apply. The last 15 laps of that stage, no caution. So again, if they're running and trying to get up front, there could be a little bit of craziness there. And then finally, the last 30 laps is basically a shootout. That there are no cautions at all during those last 30 laps. In addition, on that last stage, all racers are required to come down and do a full 4-tire pit stop along with everything else. So a lot of stuff going on tonight. They really have to watch what they're doing tonight. They only have 3 sets of tires for the entire night, including the ones that they're on to start the race. So they're going to be able to change out tires twice. It is going to take a lot of doing because this type of track, tires could come into play really, really quickly. So we might see a little bit of sliding around out there. Also, all racers get 1 fast repair tonight, only 1. And so that means that they have to race clean. And with those lack of caution rules there, not sure that's going to happen. This might get kind of interesting. So definitely stick around with us here tonight for the 4-Wide Racing All-Star Race here at Chicagoland because we are going to have a good time. Now, granted, a lot of these guys are out here racing for pride, and that's really all they're racing for tonight as far as money's concerned. But Paints by Night, Corey Knight with Paints by Night has gone out and he has created a Clean Driver Award just specifically for this race. So the 3 drivers with the fewest incident points that are on the lead lap at the finish will receive money. So first place, $25, second place, $15, third place, $10. So if you're out there and you race a completely clean race and you're on the lead lap, you don't necessarily have to win the race in order to win the prize. And so that's something that people could be looking out for as well, because there might not be any money going on for the race itself, but man, clean driving is a priority right now. We really need a lot of that clean driving tonight. So that is what we're here to do. If you could, go and check out Paints by Night on www.speedracingnetwork.com, www.speedracingnetwork.com, or you can find him on Trading Paints at Ashton Knight. And so you can check out all of his cars, and you can see here a couple of nice cars that he designed there, Paints by Night logoed car, as well as there's a Nickelodeon Rugrats car there as well. So he does a lot of great paint designs for these cars. So if anybody out there has any need for a special paint, a paint that they just want to do and try out, that sort of thing, then definitely get a hold of Paints by Night. They are absolutely fantastic at what they do. All right, so these guys have been running in the Cup cars in the Cup Series for the last 19 weeks. And so here are your standings after that, after those 19 weeks. So James Holzer is up front. He's got 3 wins on the season, 10 top 5s, 14 top 10s out of 19 races. Very, very consistent driver. He is out there leading the way. Almost looks like he's not quite uncatchable yet, but he's getting to that point. Then right behind him, we have Austin Reedy, who doesn't have a win yet in the series. However, he has 7 top 10s or top 5s and 14 top 10s. So also another consistent driver, just hasn't quite been able to get that checkered flag just yet. Tyler Murray just behind him, 623 points. So just really right on Austin's tail there. Tyler does have 1 win. He's got 5 top 5s and 12 top 10s. And so if you look down this list, I mean, the top 7 of this list, and actually include ninth ranked Forrest Wynn as well, all of these guys have over 10 top 10s in the last 19 weeks. And that is just pure consistency. And really, in racing, that is what you need on the racetrack. You need to be consistent. You need to stay out of trouble, but you also need to know when to go. And sometimes you don't win everything, but if you are consistent, then you're going to be up near the top of the standings. So far, This year, the one with the most wins out there, Jonathan Warren down there with 5 wins on the season. So definitely a lot of great drivers in this league. We are looking forward to seeing what they do out here on the track. But they're going to have company. They have the entire truck league out there as well. And so here are the standings for the truck league. They've gone for 16 weeks now. They also have only five races left in the season. And you can see Ken MacArthur is out front with 508 points. He does not have a win. And again, that goes back to what I was saying about consistency. You can be consistent and still be a champion without having an actual win. So kind of a unique thing in racing where you don't necessarily have to win a race at all in order to be a champion here. So Matt Roberts, same story there. No wins on the season, but 11 top 10s out of 16 races. That will do just fine for him. And then Craig Lautenslager, same thing. 9 top 10s. The first person on the sheet that has wins is Brandon Banks. He's got 3 wins, 5 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. And so once again, nice sheet here. A lot of really great racers out here. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. And that's really what it's all about tonight. We're just going to have a great time and see what's going on with everybody. So once again, if you're just joining us, so the race format for tonight, 180 laps, 3 stages. So the first stage is going to be 75 laps, and then they'll throw a caution. The next stage will be 75 laps, throw a caution. The last stage will be 30 laps, and we'll get to the checker flag. So the last 15 laps of stages 1 and 2 are no cautions at all. So that's what that's up there. So in all of stage 3, the 30-lap finisher, all of that is no cautions as well. So we are definitely going to see probably a little bit of rough racing out there. We'll find out really shortly here. Looks like they are just now getting into qualifying. So just keep in mind, 1 fast repair for the entire night. So they have to try to race clean. And if they don't race clean, then they're going to be out of the race pretty quickly. And so that is going to be a big issue. The biggest issue, though, that I see in this race is going to be the tire limits. And so they only get 3 sets of tires. So the set of tires that they qualify on, and then 2 more sets of tires. And keep in mind, they have to save one of those sets of tires for a pit stop in the last stage. So they have to do a 4-tire pit stop in that last stage. So this is going to get really slippery really, really quick out there. So like I said, they are out there qualifying right now. We should be getting going here relatively shortly. What we're going to do is we are going to allow a few of these guys to get their qualifying laps in, and then we are going to jump out there and talk to a couple of these guys and see kind of what their feelings are, where they're at in this race, and see kind of what they're preparing for. Because again, some of these guys, it's tough to prepare for a race like this because there's just no way to do it. I mean, it's really it's a unique type of setup that they've got going on tonight. So we will check that out and find out what is going on with all that. So here we are, beautiful Chicagoland Speedway. This is a 1.5 mile tri-oval, and both sides, both large turns, so turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are exactly identical. And so that's going to make it a little bit easier on them to negotiate these turns and get out there and really get after it. So we're just taking a look. Let's see if we can't get out there on the track. We can see a couple of these guys finishing up on their qualifying. And so it looks like this is Steven Gross in the 00 car. Beautiful looking car there. So he is going to finish up his qualifying laps there. Let's check out Brandon Gillis. Ooh, he's getting a little bit loose already. So Brandon Gillis in the 9 car, the Square Enix car there. So let's take a look at that paint job. That's nice, clean, beautiful Ford Mustang there. And then let's take a look. This is Jonathan Warren. He is out there in the Texaco car. Nice looking Ford Mustang there as well. But it looks like pretty much everybody has finished up. I think we got a couple more guys just barely getting out on the track. So we will catch some of them here in just a second. Here's another one out there. This is Cody Ivey in the Ghost car. I like that paint job. That's a very nice number 81 car there. we will see. I believe we're going to get Jay Gimbel out here as well. So, yep, Jay Gimbel in the body armor car. Nice Ford Mustang there. Beautiful paint job on that one as well. So you're going to see a lot of these cars getting around the track. You're going to see a lot of this stuff going on. So let's see if we can't jump out really quick and get a little bit of time with, I'm going to try to get Roman Long in here. Roman is the one that put together this league for us. Let me see if I can grab him. No, it looks like he is out there qualifying right now, so not going to be able to grab him at this point. So we will have to get back to him shortly. Let's jump down there. We will check one more time on Jay Gimbel out here. Jay Gimbel from the Plains in the number 12 body armor car. Beautiful gold and purple there. Wonder, he might be an LSU fan. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Roman Long in the Lowe's number 99. And he is the one that we are going to try to get in into the booth here in just a little while. We don't want to bother him too much out there. Roman Long, Sean Griffith up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Not too bad. How about you?
Man, it is going good. You got a nice little league going on here. You got a nice little race going on. This is a unique format tonight.
Yeah, I just want to do something different. We don't do stages during the season. I figured we might as well give it a try for an all-star race. Stuff to try.
Well, so what was your idea on this league? So I know you have a cup league, and I know you have a truck league as well. And I realize you're qualifying right now, but I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on how this league came to pass.
So basically, it was all through. I was bored during COVID. I was working from home, so I had the time. So I set it up and gathered some drivers first before I set up a schedule and all that, and got it going. And we just started with the Cup Series, and 5 races in or so, we had a little bit of problems with too many cautions and wrecks with people, so we decided to start a truck series for more of developmental drivers and went from there. So now it's a full-blown 2-series league.
Man, that is awesome. Just getting it started out and that type of a league. I mean, are you looking for this thing to grow next season, or is this a one-and-done thing? What is this?
Yeah, we actually have our schedule set for next season. We will start back up in February. We're going to do 2 seasons a year, so 2 short seasons of about 19 races. We will be implementing a playoff system next year, so it'll only be the top 8 drivers with only a 5-race playoff, but something different.
All right, good deal. Well, tonight we have the Paints by Night Clean Driver Award, and is that something that are you expecting people to kind of lay back a little bit because there's an award out there, or are you expecting them to just really go for it?
I think you'll see people lay back until that final stage, just because they know that there's going to be a stage caution. It's been the last couple races haven't been too clean, so I guess we'll find out. I know I'm sitting back to start off the race.
All right, good deal. Well, tell you what, I'm going to drop you back down there with your team, and you have a great race. I think we're going to get started here in about a minute and a half, and we can't wait to see what you guys do out there.
All right, thanks.
All right, once again, that was Roman Long, and he's the one that created this entire league. He came up with the idea for this race as well. Really, really interesting format tonight, and he said he just wanted to kind of do it for fun, and that's what we're here to do, is just to have a little bit of fun with it. So one more time for those of you that just joined us. So 180 laps, 3 stages. So the first 2 stages are 75 laps apiece. You have no cautions in the last 15 laps of those 2 stages. So the final stage is 30 laps, and there are no cautions at all during those 30 laps at all. So, and then on top of that, that last stage, you are required to do a full pit stop. That means 4 tires and fuel. You're required to do that. If by some reason you don't have any tires left, any of the required tire sets, then you will get a penalty. And that's going to really drop you out of the race. So here we go, guys. We've got about 30 seconds left in qualifying, but it looks like everybody has actually already gone out and qualified. We are just waiting for the timer to drop down. Just keep in mind, 1 fast repair tonight, and that is it. So keep it clean, guys. And if you do keep it clean, then once again, you have a chance for the Clean Driving Award. So the fewest incident points for any driver that finishes on the lead lap. You have to finish on the lead lap. You'll get $25. The next fewest will be 15. The next fewest will be 10. So if you drive a completely clean race and you are the last car on the lead lap, you're still going to win $25 tonight. So, all right, guys, I think it is that time. I think we are going to get out there and check out. This is our grid for tonight. So Austin Reedy gets to pole position. So nice 29.848 there. Then you have Craig Lautenschlager there, and sorry, his name's a little bit long and didn't put the entire name on there, so I apologize for that, Craig. Kyle Benson in 3rd, Tyler Werner in 4th, Jay Gimbel in 5th, Jonathan Warren in 6th. James Holzer, who, again, remember, is the leader, the points leader for the Cup Series, he is in 7th. Stephen Gross in 8th. Tyler Murray in 9th. Forrest Wynn in 10th. Roman Long in 11th. Cody Ivey in 12th. So we do have 15 drivers out there on the track, but that is your top 12. So we will get started here in just 1 second. I believe we're going to get the pace car out there, and we're going to get started. And tonight we do have the ticker up top there, so just if you can follow along the ticker, that will show you who is running how, and that'll keep everything under control. So looks like we're going to get the pace car out there, and we are going to get started. Let's go through these cars here really quick while we can. So let's jump up to the front. So Austin Reedy in that Pat McAfee show car for Barstool Sports, he is going to be leading us off the start-finish line there. You have Craig Lautenschlager there up in second, so he's going to be on the outside. Then we got Kyle Benson qualified third in the Haviland car. Tyler Werner in the Sylvania LED car. Jay Gimbel in the body armor car. Jonathan Warren in the Texaco car. James Holzer in the Game Fuel car. Nice plain white car for the most part. I know there's a little bit of color there on the sides. Jonathan Warren, we already got him. So Tyler Murray in the High Life Sports with Nikki C&L. Stephen Gross in the Coors car. Roman Long in the number 99 Lowe's car there. Forrest Wynn in that classic Kodiak car. Cody Ivey, actually it's going to be Brandon Gillis out there, so Square Enix. Then Cody Ivey is in the Ghost car. Nicholas Bazzuti in the Iovox car. And Debbie Hutchins back there in the Cheetos car in the number 82 there. So lots of great paint jobs here. We love seeing all that stuff, and we are going to get everything up to green. And already we've got some action going on. We've got somebody jumping out to the outside, but Austin Reedy is going to bring us around. The number 13 of Craig Lautenschlager right behind him. Looks like Kyle Benson's going to get right up on Craig's tail. Hopefully pull him around the track a little bit. Craig Lautenschlager going to the inside. But Austin Reedy is going to be our leader of the first lap tonight. He did take the pole, and he also has the lead. And this is one of those tracks where you can get out front. You can get out there and you can stay out there. All you have to do is stay clean. And so this is another. This is not like a super speedway where it's really tight pack racing. If you do get away here, you are going to stay away from everybody. And so that is the goal here tonight: is just get away, stay away. but nobody's getting away right now. So looks like Jonathan Warren is down there on the inside, but you got Kyle Benson coming up on the outside as well. Austin Reedy. Oh, and we already have a caution. We do have a caution. So that is going to bring out our very, very first Dent Wizard wreck replay of the night. And you're going to see here, I believe that's Cody Ivy, gets down on the apron, and he gets a little bit of help there from the 00. And he gets up into the wall. So Stephen Gross kind of got into the back of him a little bit, but he was down on the apron. So that ghost car is going to go spinning. He is definitely going to get a little bit of damage there. But like I said, we do have one fast repair. So he's going to get the opportunity there to have that fast repair. Let's go back one more time and see if we can't check that out one more time from a different angle. And yeah, it just looks like Cody just kind of got down on the apron a little bit. Steven got into the back of him, and then Cody just kind of went spinning. So that's the way it works here. You can't really get down on the apron too much until you get into that tri-oval portion. If you do, then that's when you start spinning. So, all right, let's check out and see where everybody ended up there. Again, we're only 5 laps in now, already with our first caution. Just keep in mind, only one fast repair. And once you use that fast repair, then you just have to stay clean the rest of the race or you're in trouble. All right, Austin Reedy is going to be up front still. Jonathan Warren made a big move. He's already up 4 positions up in second place. And Kyle Benson back in third place. That's where he started. Craig Rottenslaughter, he dropped back a couple spots from where he started. Tyler Werner back there in 5th. He started in 4th. So a little bit of movement early. The move by Jonathan Warren at the very, very beginning. Let's see if we can go back and check that out really quick. So we're going to check that out. And if you look, watch the Texaco car. It's going to jump out right at the beginning. And you can pass on the outside before the start-finish line, but he gets out to the outside and he jumps up really, really quickly. Got a really great start there. So really good move to start off this race. Nothing wrong with that. And so that puts him back up. That puts him back up in second place. So that's how we got to where we're at. And let's see if any cars, I doubt any cars are going to come down to the pits right now, except for a couple that were involved in that crash. So no reason to go ahead and use tires. No reason to go ahead and do that at this point. But Austin Reedy just staying down there on the apron, not really a bad move there either, just kind of taking his time, getting around the track. And so once again, we'll just recap this. So Austin Reedy up in first place still. All right. So Austin Reedy is going to be the one that brings us to the start-finish line. Of course, here at Chicagoland, there are a lot of caution laps. These things, they go super slow, and so we're going to have plenty of time, but it looks like we got the one to go here. Next caution, we're going to try to get some people up in the booth, try to interview a couple people, and we may even have a color commentator here pretty shortly. So we're going to have, like I said, just a little bit of fun. That's what All-Star races are all about, is just to have a good time. But one person not really having a good time right now, Cody Ivy, he had to use that fast repair. He is back out there, but currently he is showing a lap down. Looks like he is going to going to start off in the back of the pack there. So he's going to have a little bit of work to do to get back up there and to do so cleanly. Once again, Reedy, we're going to come around turns 3 and 4, and the pace car is going to dive off. And Austin Reedy is going to try to get another good restart. He started off the race really, really well. Got a pretty decent jump since he was one in control, and there goes the pace car right now. So he can go at any point. And there he goes. Gets a great restart. Jonathan Warren tucks in right behind him there. Let's see how many laps we can go. Hopefully everybody plays nice here. There aren't enough fast repairs out there for everybody to be too aggressive tonight. Looks like Jonathan Warren's he's content to be right there on the tail of Austin Reedy. He's not making too many moves right now. There's somebody that is making a move out there. Let's jump back there. So looks like Kyle Benson in the 4 got out there to the outside, and so he was trying to make a quick little move there. But on his inside is Craig Lautenslager, who was our outside pole sitter. He's just trying to get right back up there in the mix. So we got 5 guys out front who built up about a 1-second lead over the second pack there. So these 5 guys are going to be content probably to race with each other for a while. I have a feeling they're not going to race too terribly hard, but the second I say that, it's the second that Tyler Murray goes down on the apron, and he takes 4th place. But Austin Reedy leading the way. Like I said, they're just all lined up. I don't see anybody making too many major moves here. Oh, and it looks like Jonathan Warren almost touched him. And now Jonathan Warren's going to go down to the inside. He's going to try to make that pass here. Let's see if he can hold it. And it looks like, yeah, he clears him. He clears him by a mile there. So Jonathan Warren, our new leader. And that's one of the things here at Chicagoland and some of these other medium range speedways, these 1.5 milers, is you can drop down to the apron there around the start finish line, and that gains you just a few hundredths of a second, but sometimes a few hundredths of a second is really all you need for the difference between a good race and a bad race. So right now we've got 12 viewers out there. We appreciate all 12 of you out there. If you like to, then you're welcome to say anything in the chat, and we'll do everything we can to respond. But just a quick little update. So Austin Reedy has dropped back to 3rd place now. So our pole sitter has dropped down a couple positions. The biggest mover right now is Tyler Murray in the 8 car. He is up in 2nd place. He has gained 7 positions since the beginning of this race. So that is our biggest gainer right now. Once again, these 5 have really broken away a lot. They've broken away almost 3.5 seconds from the pack behind them. You can see there the battle for first. So Murray just barely behind Warren there, and then Reedy is kind of starting to fall off a little bit. So this might become a 2-car race here for a little while. Once again, these 5, and not really sure how they broke away so quickly, but these 5 have opened up a 4-second lead on 6th place Roman Long. And they are beginning to catch up looks like they're beginning to catch Cody Ivy. So we might get just a hair of lap traffic here in just a second. So Jonathan Warren up front. So far, nice and smooth. Nothing too dangerous out there. We just had that one little accident a little bit earlier, but everybody else is really playing nice tonight. So that's really good to see, especially in an all-star race where sometimes a lot of this stuff doesn't matter in an all-star race. You know, people like to just get out there and have a good time, but everybody seems to take this pretty seriously, and looks like Tyler Murray is taking it very seriously. He's going to drop down to the inside and try to take the lead. He will clear he will clear Jonathan Warren, and he will take that lead. So Tyler Murray up front for the first time tonight. And again, he is up 8 spots from where he began. So he qualified 9th, and now he's up in 1st. So a couple of big gainers here, because Jonathan Warren, he's gained 4 spots since the beginning. So really a couple guys that have come up a little bit from the pack, and now they are out front putting on a show. But Austin Reedy, coming back, he's decided that he doesn't want to lay back anymore. He's decided he's going to go. So Austin Reedy going to the outside of Jonathan Warren here. Let's see if he can get by. He can't. He's going to try to dip down here. No, he stays up. So all right, well, while they're racing up front, let's jump back here towards the back a little bit. Let's take a look and see this race back here for 6th place. You can see Roman Long out there in 6th in the Lowe's car. And you got Warner and Gimble right behind him. So Tyler Warner in that Sylvania car, and then Jay Gimble is in that body armor car out there. So a few cars out there, and back there right behind it, so Brandon Gillis as well. So you got the top 5 cars, and then you have a pack of 4 cars. And then a little bit further back, another 7 seconds back, you have James Holzer, who again is the points leader for the Cup Series. And then he is back there racing with Forrest Wynn in the Kodiak car. And then you have Debbie Hutchins in the Cheetos car. You do see Cody Ivy in there, but he is a lap down. So he's still got some work to do. But going back up front, Tyler Murray. He is still sitting out there. Nothing's changed since we left. So Tyler Murray out front, Jonathan Warren in 2nd, Austin Reedy in 3rd, Craig Lockslogger in 4th. And just to kind of show you here, let's see if we can't figure out exactly how far ahead some of these people are. You can see there's a car off in the distance. It's a little bit tough to see right now, but that is a lap vehicle, so Tyler Murray is running hard trying to put one of these cars a lap down. But he should not be too careless right now, because you do have Jonathan Warren, who made an incredible move on the start, jumping up a few positions quickly, and he is not going to be satisfied to sit back there in 2nd. So once again, we were talking a little bit earlier with Roman Long. So if anybody's out there looking for a good truck league, a good cup league, this league is starting again next season. And so they're going to have some fantastic racing here. So definitely, if you're watching this, if you have a steering wheel, get involved, have some fun with it. So that is Nicholas Vizzuti. I apologize. Nicholas Vizzuti that is getting lapped there. He's just going to basically stay high, stay out of everybody's way. It looks like he didn't want to use one of the fast repairs, which is probably a smart idea at this point. Just bide your time a little bit. Wait until we get maybe to the first stage, the first caution there, and then jump in and get back in this race. Tyler Murray has started to open up a little bit, so he's 0.6 ahead of 2nd place Jonathan Warren. If he keeps this up, he is going to run away with this thing. Now Jonathan is back there. He's racing a little bit with Austin Reedy, and if they start to get side by side, then that is just going to allow Tyler Murray to just run on the lane. And that's something that can happen at these 1.5-mile tracks, and I call them driver's tracks, and I love calling them that because these are the tracks that you don't just mash the pedal and go. You have to lift, you have to know where to lift and when to get back on the gas. This is a very tricky course if you've never actually driven it. And so you really need to know exactly when to let off, and then as the tires start to wear off, that point will change, and so you have to learn how your car reacts. And so that's why I call it a driver's course, because you really have to understand how your car works here. Whereas, you know, at a super speedway, at a Daytona, at a Talladega, all you have to do is put your foot on the gas and go, and just try not to run into the car in front of you or beside you. Out here, you have to do all that, but you have to actually work the pedals as well. So a little bit different track here, but Chicagoland being one of those that's symmetrical, so it's the same on one side as it is on the other. It's a little bit easier than some of these 1.5 milers, but for the most part, it is definitely in that group of tracks that the best drivers really rise to the top really quickly. All right, Tyler Murray, I mean, they caught right back up to him, so he didn't get out too far. So not sure if tires are starting to wear, or maybe Warren and Reedy just decided to get a little bit racy. These four cars going out of here, and we used to have another car up here. I believe that was Kyle Benson. He's kind of dropped back a little bit, so he is back there in 5th place. And so he's just kind of all by himself out there, kind of hung out to dry here for a little while. So until he either gets a caution or the second pack kind of catches up to him, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to get up there. Tyler Murray, now, I mean, as soon as I said that they were catching up to him, all of a sudden he decides to jump back on the gas and get right back out there. So he's opened up a half-second lead. You can see nothing but clear skies out in front of him through his front windshield here. You can see the line that he's taken as well, and he is not dropping down to the apron there in front of the start-finish line. He was a little bit earlier, I believe, so I'm not sure why the change on that. Maybe that just gets his car a little bit loose. These top four have opened up almost a 5-second lead on Kyle Benson back there. So, again, 4-car race going on until something happens out there. But if you look, these cars are really kind of spacing out a little bit. And so that means we're going to have a lot of green flag racing, which is what we love to see. We love to see racing, but we really don't like to see the slow caution laps. So hopefully nothing like that happens. We will have a competition caution at lap 75 to end the first stage. And then we will jump right back into it with another 75-lap stage as well. Looks like Jonathan Warren has decided that he wants to take that spot back, maybe. So he is just looking for a spot to go to the inside here. Really tough to pass on the outside on this track, so you just have to really get a nice little angle on it usually. They're just lined up right now. And so that will give us a little bit of time to jump back and check on a few guys. So you can see the top four here. So Murray, Warren, Reedy, Lautenschlager. So back towards a little further back, almost 5.5 seconds back, we have Kyle Benson in the 4. And then catching up to him, we have Tyler Werner and Jay Gimble coming up there as well. Then another 3 seconds back, you have Roman Long all by himself. And then Brandon Gillis back there all by himself as well. So a lot of cars spacing out. But keep in mind, it may be a little while before we have some lap traffic, but that might come into play. But it looks like everybody's, for the most part, playing nice tonight. I'll tell you, the best looking car out there, in my opinion, this Cheetos car. I'm a huge fan of that Cheetos car. Very nice looking ride out there. Debbie Hutchins sitting back there in 12th position right now, but she has plenty of time. We go out front. Tyler Murray just leading away. See, not a lot going on around him, so he's got plenty of space to go whichever line he wants to go. Drivers love that. They love having that wide open space that they can just let the car go wherever it wants. They don't have to control the car too terribly much because they don't have to worry about the people right next to them. But, you know, Jonathan Warren and Austin Reedy don't have that advantage. They're getting a little bit closer to each other. But now they're starting to catch up again. So every now and then, you know, Warren and Reedy, they just kind of get the idea that they want to get back into this race, and then they catch up to Murray. And it's almost like they're playing a game with him. It's almost like they can move up at will. And so, of course, there is a little bit of a draft, but not that much here at Chicagoland. So maybe they're just showing him that they can jump out there whenever they feel like it. You can see the gap there decreasing, so we're within a quarter of a second, and then it looks like Warren just kind of backed off there. So once again, Murray is just going to pull away a little bit, and Reedy is just going to stay back there in the draft. He's just going to be patient, and that's what the good drivers do. They're just really, really patient. They wait for their spots. Just checking in real quick, so going back a little bit further, so Cody Ivey is a lap down right now, so almost 2 laps down. And then Nicholas Bizzuti also a lap down as well. He's on the same lap as Cody Ivey. And they're right there next to each other. And Stephen Gross, it looks like Stephen Gross has probably left the track is what it looks like. Not sure if he left the race completely or if he's just in the pits. Have a long way to go. We've got about 34 laps to go to that competition caution in that first stage. And that first stage is just going to allow people to just kind of break it up a little bit. So as long as you're on the lead lap, you're going to have that opportunity to jump right back into this race. So that may be the reason that a lot of these guys are not racing too terribly hard back there from 5th place on back, because they know that competition caution is going to come out and they're going to be right back up there with the lead pack. There's no reason to be in any danger right now. And that's kind of what Roman Long was saying, and we'll pull him up one more time here. So that's what he was saying a little bit earlier, was he's just going to kind of lay back for a while. And that's not a bad move. So we see a lot of these races that people get a little bit antsy and they start making some bad decisions. But this is a good decision on his part to just kind of hang back, just bide his time, and then when it gets to that 3rd stage, I think that's where he's going to put it on. The top 4 for about the past 20 laps has been Tyler Murray, Jonathan Warren, Austin Reedy, and Craig Lautenslager. And they put about 7 seconds on 5th place, so it's just going to be these 4 just riding around. Now they are catching up to Debbie Hutchins here. So I think Debbie's just going to pretty much stay up top, stay out of the way a little bit. So Murray makes it through there cleanly. Yeah, she's just going to stay up top, stay out of everybody's way. That's the courteous thing to do once you're going a lap down. But Tyler Murray has opened up a 0.6 of a second race lead here. And we are coming pretty close. So again, once we get to lap 60, so when we hit lap 60, from lap 60 to lap 75, there are no cautions. And so will we see them get a little bit racier during that time? It's hard to say. I'm not sure. I'm not sure you're going to get anybody being too racy here in this first stage. I think once we get to the second and third stage, I think you're going to see them let loose a little bit. But they don't want to wreck their cars this early into the race. All right, so special treat for everybody out there. We do have our color commentator here, Brandon Browning, really great cup racer in his own right. Brandon, I know you have run this course 1,000 times. What can you tell us about Chicagoland?
It's one of those tracks where, really, first of all, thanks for having me, Sean. More than beyond glad to be here with you guys. But running Chicagoland, it's one of those tracks where, if you over-aggressively drive and you drive too out of the bag, so to speak, starting out, what's going to happen is you're going to run into issues with tires. You're going to chew your right front tire up. You're pretty much a sitting duck. I think the biggest thing is, trying to save tires will be the fast way to get around the racetrack tonight, Sean.
Now, Brandon, have you ever raced in a race like this where there's 3 stages? So the first stage is 75 laps, the second stage is 75 laps, the third stage is 30 laps, but you only have 3 sets of tires, including the set of tires that you started off on, and there's no cautions for the last 15 laps of stages 1 and 2, and no cautions at all in the third stage. Have you ever done anything like that?
I've done a mix of things like that. I've done stage racing. I've done no cautions in the last X amount of laps. And I've done races where, you run so many laps with only a limited number of tires. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Obviously, you don't want to push too hard on the restarts, especially in that final stage, because, you're not going to have any cautions. But I think the biggest thing that you're going to see, and the issue that will be, is going to be the fact that you only have the 3 sets of tires.
Yeah, and man, with that competition caution coming up at lap 75, and again, you only have 2 extra sets of tires because your first tires that you're on right now, that counts as one set. So when you come in for this caution, do you take it?
No, I believe you just ride for now. I think you bypass this a little bit. You just go forward onto the next go around, so to speak.
We're going to see what they're going to do here really, really shortly. So 25 more laps to go in this stage. Tyler Murray has been out front for a long time here. Jonathan Warren, Austin Reedy, Craig Lautenslager, they have not let him go too far, but none of them have really been that racy either. And then back another 7 seconds, you have this little group, so Tyler Werner and Jay Gimbel. And then another 3 seconds back from them, you have Roman Long. And so everybody just seems to be biding their time right now, Brandon.
Yeah, and I think, this early on, I think that's exactly what you have to do. You don't really want to show your true colors to the guys you're racing around and guys that that are fast. You kind of just want to hold off and see what's left later on into the race, so to speak.
Well, and also remember, we do have the Clean Driver Award. Paints by Night has put some money out there for the cleanest driver on the lead lap, so that could be part of this too. They're just kind of hanging back, hoping to get that money.
Yeah, and money talks. I think that's the biggest thing. You have a lot of guys being way more clean when you have money on the line, and sometimes, depending on the way the money's on the line, it'll go the other way. But I think with the type of money that Paints by Night's thrown up for us tonight, it really goes a long way.
Yeah, especially since you don't even have to win the race. You just have to be the cleanest driver on the track. And so I think that's going to keep people from making too many bad decisions here towards the end of this stage.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think, close to the end of the stage, you won't have too many silly moves going on. Maybe save them for the next stage if possible.
Well, it looks like Jonathan Warren's getting a little bit antsy here. It looks like he's going to go to the outside, see if he can't make this pass on Tyler Murray. I think Tyler's just, maybe he's just going to let him go. No reason to be racing right now.
Still trying to get caught up real quick with everything.
And Jonathan Warren will complete that pass. And so he will take the lead. He had it just a little bit earlier, and remember, he started off back in 6th place. He's gained 5 positions. He's up there in 1st now. Tyler Murray right behind him has gained 7 positions, and he is up in 2nd. So a couple of big gainers here at the front. They are our top 2 gainers, and they are out here leading this race.
Yeah, and I think, being, trying to find the proper way to say, it's this kind of is like a no stress race, right? Like you don't really have a whole lot to worry about stress wise. Like it's more of a, figure out what you got and go for it type deal, which is, it's going to prove huge as well.
Well, they're going for it, and they're getting about 7.5 seconds ahead of 5th place right now. So these top 4 are just kind of making their presence known out here. They're being nice to each other, not going too crazy, but they're definitely getting the car around the track a little bit faster than everybody else.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that Warren hates to see right now as he's leading this thing is the fact that he knows those cars, he's probably faster than those guys behind him. However, on the downside of that, the draft comes into play so much in these Cup cars that, if he can just break away, if he can get to 1.3 seconds, he'd probably really drive off into the sunset, Sean. But because of this draft and those 3 cars stacked up behind him, he really can't find the breakaway that he needs.
And again, 18 laps away from this first competition caution here, breaking away right now really doesn't do any good, does it?
No, it's just the principle at this point. He's kind of laid the stone for his game plan, and that being of him to run up front and do what he can. And I think that's what he wants to show. He really wants to, still early here. The first stage is a big break in the race, and being this early in, if he's able to pull away, he knows he's got that later. He can kind of be more cautious as we get through stage 2. And one thing's for sure, with no cautions in stage 3, he definitely wants to know in the back of his mind that he has this ability in the arsenal.
Well, the other thing to really pay attention to here, as we're coming to about 15 to go until the competition caution, look at the cars up in front here. So Benson is only 3.3 seconds ahead of Warren, and Warren is closing fast. Benson's got to stay on that lead lap.
Yeah, no, that's going to be definitely a huge thing that you're going to want to do here, because, as you space out and you don't get those cautions that you typically would have, you don't want to go a lap down, because cautions are obviously lucky dogs and wave arounds and things like that. If you go a lap down and you get a long strand where you don't have a caution, you have to do it the hard way. And you have to do it the hard way by either throwing yourself off cycle or just flat out being fast enough to get there.
And I apologize. That is actually Brandon Gillis. Brandon Gillis is up there. Oh, it looks like they're jumping into the pit road.
This is a very interesting, thing that we have going here, being the fact that we're closing in on the final few laps of stage 1. Sorry. They're going to go ahead and dive down, and I think, this close, if you can push it just those extra 13 laps or so until the competition caution, I think is well worth doing it. And I don't think we're going to see anyone doing that, Sean. However, we may be able to see one of these guys at the back try to stretch that little gap and go for it.
Well, it looks like one person comes down, everybody comes down. Here comes Craig Lautenslager, who's leading the race. He's going to come down. I'm wondering if maybe this is a fuel move too, so maybe they're running out of fuel as well. So looks like Roman Long is going to come down. Looks like everybody's going to come down here around lap 60. This is going to change things up for this first stage.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see, the amount of gap that's closed by this pit strategy, and especially, if tires come into play and things like that. Going to be a lot of speed to be made up, while these guys, even one lap's going to be a mile on the racetrack, it seems.
Well, Forrest Wynn has not come in yet. Looks like he is one of the only ones that hasn't. The other one that has not is Cody Ivey, but Cody Ivey came in around lap 3. He was involved in that first wreck. So Forrest Wynn, I'm not sure if he's going to try to stretch this or what. Oh, James
We
Holzer
do have
off
a
the
car
track.
down in the grass there. Not really sure.
That was James
Oh,
Holzer.
we see the 13 car as he's trying to blend back onto the racetrack. He's going to get a little sideways down there on the apron. That's going to tell me the Lautenschlager probably did not take tires there, Sean. He was a little loose.
Take a look and see what's going on with him, but he is back out there on the track. Everybody's still safe. We are still green, obviously, because we're in the last 15 laps of this stage. So no yellow flags for the rest of this stage, which, again, might make this a little bit interesting.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think it'll be, nonetheless, we see some cars now just riding along with the 8 car of Tyler Murray. He's kind of riding up against the wall, just coming off of that corner. Not really as high as he could be there, but as high as you really want to be here, Sean.
Well, it looks like Austin Reedy is going to re-inherit the lead. He was our pole sitter, and he is out there in front right now. And we're going to see if he can hold on to it for the rest of this stage. But, man, it is going to be really interesting to know who took tires and who didn't.
Yeah, and I think that's going to prove to be, major. And if you were able to save a set of tires there, and I'm going to, just solely off of a guess and instinct right now, I'm going to say that Austin Reedy maybe didn't take a set of tires, which was how he was able to get so far back out to the lead. He's going to have a little bit of a lead here as we cycle through, rather. It's not going to be like anything major, but maybe just trying to bide that time. Obviously, if you lose the lead here as Austin Reedy, that's okay. You just don't want to fall a lap down. Like I said, laps down are really going to hurt you later in this thing. So I think riding right now is the best strategy that Austin Reedy could ask for.
Well, the next person it looks like that is in danger of going a lap down is Forrest Wynn. And looks like he is up about 2 seconds ahead of Reedy as we speak. And we'll take a look at that and be sure that doesn't drop too much further.
Now, Forrest Wynn in that 77 car, he was one of the last guys we saw to come down pit road. So I'm hoping if I'm him, I'm taking tires there. I want to be able to stay ahead of these leaders because he waited so long that even, like if Austin Reedy took right side tires or any of these guys took tires and are just playing out faster than he is, he's going to lose that lap. And that's one thing you definitely don't want to do here, as we've said. So by taking his tires, it'll put him a little bit off cycle, but it'll also give him the ability to stay ahead of that 11 car who's hot right now.
He is out there and he is catching Wynn very, very quickly, almost down a full second from when we were just talking. And so now we are down to under a second for Wynn. We got about 8 laps to go on this stage. Wynn has to stay on this lead lap here.
Yeah, and that's really, with the amount of laps that we have left, it's really kind of up to Austin Reedy. I don't think it's going to be too much of a fight that he can really put up, especially, here in, I'd say, about half a lap or so. Reedy's going to be within his draft, so there's not really much he's going to be able to do to fiend him off and really put up any type of fight whatsoever, Sean. I just think maybe too little too late on the strategy. Maybe 1 lap earlier would have served Wynn better than the strategy that he's chosen.
Yep, Reedy is catching up very quickly. He is going to be in that draft very, very soon, but all the while, he is also opening up a lead on Murray at 1.4 seconds now.
The unfortunate thing for Murray behind Austin Reedy now is the fact that he's lost the draft. This is what I was kind of talking about earlier when we were talking about the 78 car, which, of course, is Jonathan Warren. When you're out front like this and you break that draft, it comes all down to driving ability. If you see how Austin Reedy right now is riding in the tire tracks of that Wynn machine up in front of him, the number 77, the biggest thing that he's doing here, not only is he saving fuel, which isn't going to come into a factor in this stage, but he's able to go that much faster just because the 2 cars are faster than one. He's within 1.3 seconds, which is typically where you pick up the draft in these iRacing races. Now, unfortunately, back to the 8 car, who's about to go under fire here by the 78 machine of Jonathan Warren, he's kind of lost that draft. He's just hanging on, hoping, that this stage is over as quick as possible.
Well, it's going to be over here really shortly. 4 more laps to go. Then we're going to get that competition caution. Looks like, I think that Austin Reedy's probably just going to kind of hang back. I don't think he's going to put his car in danger passing Wynn here at this point. Not with 4 laps to go.
No, I think he's content where he is. You know, right now, Win is the furthest threat from him. However, I do want to point out that 78 machine of Jonathan Warren is coming, though. And I don't know that he has the time to get there, but I do believe that he's going to drive that car down in every single time and try his best to get to the back bumper at least and have one shot at the 11 car.
Right now, 3 laps to go until that competition caution. Looks like that 11 car has it on a rail. He has opened up a 3-second lead over Jonathan Warren back there in second place. Pretty sure this is where we're going to finish up, Brandon.
Yeah, and seeing at that time, you know, there was time lost, so to speak, being that Reedy's riding with that 77 car. I thought the 78 was a lot faster than he was. Jonathan Warren there closing in on Reedy. But that's certainly not the case. He fell just under 3 seconds that time by the line. So I think you're exactly correct. Maybe everybody except for maybe that 8 car is going to be content with where they're riding to finish the stage out.
Well, you could hear when we were in Austin Reedy's cockpit there that he's definitely pedaling the gas of that car. It doesn't sound like he's really coming off the corners too hard. I think he's just going to stay right where he's at. 2 more laps to go. He's got a 3-second lead. No reason to put himself in danger right now.
Yeah, and the biggest thing right now, if you guys race at Daytona, if there's viewers out there that maybe don't race every track, but if you've even went to Daytona and you know that when you're riding behind a car, you can not go full throttle, you can kind of pedal it back a little bit and still go just as fast. That's exactly what Austin Reedy's feeling right now. The good news about that, he doesn't have to pass the 77 car. He can ride right behind him. He can pedal the throttle. He can save the fuel, which really doesn't help him, but more importantly, he's not killing his tires right now. And we are going to be to the end of the stage as the caution does fly for us.
And here we are. This is the competition caution here. So we're going to find out if anybody decides to come down pit road right now. This might get interesting as well because, you know, you can either come down and take 4 tires. You can come down and take 0 tires and just get full fuel. Man, there's so many different options here right now.
Yeah, and it's a strategy game. I definitely think, you know, the biggest thing is you want to make sure 100% that when you come down for the final stage at the caution after stage 2, you want a fresh set of tires. You want to be able to push for 30 laps. Now, what you do from there is really up to you, Sean.
Well, and that's kind of the question. Do these guys really want to get racy? And, you know, we always love to see a good battle. We like to see a good, strong race, you know, the entire time around. But these guys sitting in the cockpit, they're not out here strictly for our enjoyment. They want to be out there to win the race. And sometimes winning the race means not going too crazy out there.
Yeah, and especially, you know, you put the emphasis on the all-star race, as we call it. You know, you want to go out there, you want to be that guy just for the night. And I think that's what you see here is you have guys going for it and trying to be the first one across the line at the end of the night. And how do you do that, Sean? It starts right now. It started 75 laps ago when the green flag dropped. These guys have already started planning their strategies. They know what they're going to do. And as long as nothing goes too crazy here, I don't think we see many guys stray away from that.
Well, it looks like they're coming into the pits. Let's see if any of those cars lift up. And it looks like, yep, Austin Reedy's car lifted up there. So I think he's in there getting 4 tires right now.
Yeah, I'd say his tires, if he's on fresh ones from the start of the race, his tires are probably screaming at him, please take some tires, please, Austin. You know, and I think that's something that he really felt he had to do there. Looked like the 78 machine, though, of Warren, he kind of got a big lead off of pit road there. I'm not sure his strategy for tires there, but I don't think it was the same as everyone else.
I don't think he took tires. It doesn't seem like it. Maybe he took tires back there on lap 60 when everybody pitted. But that would mean that he has 15-lap-old tires against these freshies out there, and so that's going to be a little bit of a scenario.
Yeah, and maybe he's the guy that I kind of relate myself to. When I come up with a strategy and I want to stick to it, I do everything in my power to make sure that what I decided on is what I go with. You know, you never second-guess yourself. So what we'll likely see from this 78 machine so far is we'll see him be a little behind early, but we're going to get to a point where the tires here, they plateau. And the same tires that they just took, you know, Austin Reedy and company behind him, Tyler Murray, they're going to plateau and be even with what you see on that Jonathan Warren machine, and it's really not going to make a difference. I mean, obviously he's not going to gain that time back, but there will come a point, Sean, where he will stop losing so much time to these new tires.
Well, hey, let's see if we can get Austin Reedy up here in the booth right now and see what his thoughts are. Hey, Austin Reedy, Sean and Brandon up here in the booth. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Man, doing good. Great first segment there. We saw you dive into the pit. So what is the strategy right now?
Right now, I grabbed 4 tires. We're going to try to save like we did last time. I saved really well. I was pulling away from the field, honestly. And I don't know what that 78 did, but he beat me off pit road by a lot. So we'll have to see what happens. We have one more set to go, so I'm going to have to save him for the last stage.
So at what point do you really get racy out there?
I think after when that third stage starts is when we start going. Because in that beginning of the first stage, I think it was a 5-car pull away. And we were just kind of all saving up there. So I think that last stage is when we're going to start getting on it.
Sounds good. Do you have any sponsors you want to say anything about?
Yeah, the driver of the 8-car makes all my paint schemes. Tyler Murray. Follow him on Twitch. Papa Teamer. YouTube Papa Teamer. That's about it, really. Big Fast Racing. Roman Long and Tyler Warner. All my teammates. So hope you all have a good night.
Excellent, man. You have a good one. We're going to drop you back down with your teammates.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, Brandon, what he said, I mean, he's not intending on getting too racy until towards the end of this second stage here.
I think that's the exact way that I'd have played it out, Sean. I mean, there's so much racing here where you can overstep the line, so to speak, and really put it in the wall, cause a little damage. I will say his strategy, I do like to try to save that set of tires for the final stage. And the reason being, if we were here strictly on a, fast, out-of-the-box iRacing setup, no adjustments, completely fixed, you can run about 25 laps before you before you start hurting, on your tires here, Sean. And I think since they've got their camber set the way they want it, I think you're going to see the fastest laps of the race in Stage 3. Now, how do you run your fastest lap in Stage 3? You've got to survive Stage 1 and 2.
Well, that's always been the saying in racing is, no race has been won in the first corner, but a lot of them have been lost there. And we saw that with Cody Ivey a little bit earlier. So lap 3 gets into some trouble and gets hit from behind a little bit from the 00 car of Steven Gross and started spinning Cody there a little bit. And so, like we said, you just got to survive these laps. It looks like we got the 1 to go here. So we're going to get back to green very shortly.
And I hope for the sake of these guys, we heard from Austin Reedy there, we know he's trying to just ride and hang out. We hope the guys behind him are going to do the same thing. And that's your biggest hope as a driver is that if you want to just ride, you're up here, you're fast, you're running at the front on a long green flag run, you're hoping that on these restarts, these guys don't see you as a target. Hey, this is as close as I'm going to get to that 11 machine. I've got to get by them now. Because no matter what, 75 more laps, we're going to see another caution.
Well, can't wait to see what happens here because now that everybody is bunched back up together, again, the first 4 cars had a good 7-second lead. Not anymore. So here we are, everybody bunched up within 2 seconds of each other. This might get a little bit hairy.
Yeah, and that's, you've rode so long spaced out and not seeing some of these cars, and now all of a sudden you're coming off 4 bunched up, crammed together. But the pace car pulls off. It's back to Jonathan Warren in the 78 machine, and he's back hard on the loud pedal, followed by that 8 of Tyler Murray, the 11 of Austin Reedy, and the leaders for now, Sean, are single file.
Looks like everybody's tucking in there. Looks like the 33 of Tyler Werner is going to be up there as well, back there in 4th. And that's somebody that had dropped back a little bit earlier, but Austin Reedy jumping up to the outside, and it looks like Tyler Murray going down to the inside to try to take that lead.
I think we see a little bit here, obviously a little bit of teammate camaraderie between the 8 and the 11, and he saw that 8 jumping out there, and he's going to go for it. I think the biggest thing you could do is the 11 now. I know he said he was going to ride, but I think here you want to stay with that 8 car, push as hard as he pushes, maybe save a little bit of tire with the draft, and really hang on to the end of the stage. Be there.
Yeah, 5 of these 14 cars on the track are teammates, and so that is a huge advantage for them because they get to talk to each other during the race in their own little Discord channel, so they can kind of strategize and see what's going on. So these first 3 cars all are teammates. And then you have Jonathan Warren back there as a separate driver. So the first 3 are all going to try to work together, and then Jonathan Warren is going to have to try to find a way to get around him.
Yeah, and that's a thing that I think right now, if I'm the 78 car back there in 4th place, we see these teammates lined up. You don't want to go up there and race them because they're out for each other right now. We've still got just under 100 laps to go. There's no reason to push. You just either you stay with them or you let them run off and use up their stuff. And when their tires are hot and they're smoking, they've turned to mush, you run them back down. And then, really, if you have enough tires saved, it doesn't matter the amount of teammates you have in a row if you have no tires left, Sean.
Looks like we're almost 3 wide back there, but they're going to tuck in, and they're all going to end up single file going into the turn. So really interesting turn of events there. They were all side by side, and all of a sudden they're all in a single line. Looks like Roman Long is going to catch a little bit of a run. He's going to try to jump out to the outside and get past Jonathan Warren there for the 4th spot, possibly. Not sure if he's going for it, and he is going to make that pass. I think Jonathan Warren is suffering from those 15-lap-old tires.
Yeah, either that or he's trying to equalize right now. I mean, 15 laps on a good day really isn't that much of a difference unless those last 15 laps, and really this is a thing that only he would know. If he really dogged those tires those first 15 laps, that's going to be different than someone who took it easy and just kind of saved them a little bit. So maybe he's saving now, hoping for the plateau and just hoping he's somewhere in the mix. Obviously wants to be on the lead lap, but I think if he doesn't pick up the pace a little bit, or if he can even pick up the pace with the way those tires are, he's going to want to pick it up before these guys out front get too far ahead.
Keep in mind, all of these cars have to make a 4-tire pit stop in the 3rd stage. And so most of these cars, if not all of them, have already used up their first 4-tire pit stop. So they're down to their last set of tires, and you still have 100 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, and I think it's going to play big because now if you're the 78 and you have 1 set left, there's nothing you can do until 30 to go. Lap 150. You're only on 87, Sean. And that's such a stretch if you're already struggling early in this thing.
Yeah, that's going to be really rough on him, especially since he's already losing spots. I mean, hopefully it does plateau for him, but if not, then he runs a big risk here of going the lap down. He is already about 3 seconds behind the leaders, and it really has not been that long. So if this keeps up, he may lose a lap.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's, kind of started to play into the back of his mind. He knows he's kind of pinned on it. Not really a whole lot he can do. We see this time by, we're going to see, waiting for an update, it looks like a 38.19 that time for Tyler Murray in the lead. Now let's see, a 31 flat for the 78 the last time by. So nothing too major right now. It's only 0.2 of a second, so I'm sure the draft is kind of neutralizing a little bit for him. But he has to be careful because eventually 0.2 a second a lap with a long stage like we've got here, Sean, is going to equal an entire lap.
And right now up front, it looks like a 6-car pack has broken away a little bit, and 4 of those 6 cars are teammates. So Roman Long has joined this front group, and so the only 2 up there that are not teammates are Kyle Benson and Jay Gimbel. Actually, take that back. Jay Gimbel is a teammate. I apologize. So Jay Gimbel is a teammate as well. So I believe Kyle Benson, and that's it. I think that's everybody. So Kyle Benson out by himself up in this 6-car pack, while all these other guys are all buddies.
Yeah, and I think he's about to find out the hard way what it means to have teammates here. I think once those guys start getting back to him, you got 2 in front of you, 3 behind you. If you go to make a move, they're just going to forget that you're even there. They're going to go where you're not. So I think if you're Kyle Benson in that 4-car, you've got to get single file. You've got to continue to ride and not really put yourself in a spot. I know it doesn't seem like much right now on the racetrack being just a few car lengths back to 6, but you think about restart, Sean. If he's to fall back to 6th and have to ride behind these guys, that's 2 more rows, or I'm sorry, 1 more row back than where he's at right now. And that's going to be the outside versus the inside. Man, it's just so much to lose by trying to make a move on these guys ahead of you.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's trying to make too many moves here. I think he's just going to try to play nice because I think he realizes that these guys are all teammates. You don't really want to make these guys mad right now. 5 guys ganging up on you. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is if he was to go down into the corner, let's say he gets a run on these 2 leaders in front of him and he goes high and has to wash out of the gas for a second, kind of drop back, those guys are just going to form on the bottom, and it's going to be almost like the Daytona effect where they're just going to run off and leave him. And, of course, right now it's easy to say, 87 or so laps to go. We don't really need to make anything happen, but if you see that 8 car and the 11 car get a little bit bigger in your windshield, it's one of those things where you have to go for it as a driver. You have to take that chance, even if it's all for naught.
Well, it looks like these front 4 have kind of broken away a little bit. Roman Long and Craig Lautenslager have kind of fallen off a little bit at the pace. But Jay Gimbel's going to come up behind and possibly catch up. Maybe they can make a run back towards the front. But right now, it looks like a 4-car race in the front.
Yeah, that's again back to that whole draft effect that we were talking about earlier. These guys, as they get broken away, obviously they're going to want to cycle that 4-car out and just kind of run their own race. But if, it goes too long and you see that 4-car kind of fall back, I think you see, we're going to see Austin Reedy going to the bottom. Maybe he's decided he wants to lead that for a little while here, Sean.
And why not? He led that almost the entire front first part of the race. He was on the pole as well. Led the first segment as well, so why not be up front?
I almost wonder too, as teammates being the 11 of Austin Reedy and the 8 of Tyler Murray. Tyler Murray led for a long time there, and always, no matter what track you're at, if you're the lead car in a pack, you're using more fuel than second place. You're using more fuel than third place riding. So I wonder if Austin Reedy and Tyler Murray got together there and decided, hey, I'm going to go out here and lead. You saved me enough fuel to make it a little longer. Now let me save you some.
No, we see that Tyler Werner kind of got to the inside of Kyle Benson, and he's still kind of on the inside. He's not going to be able to make the pass right now, but he tried to make a little bit of a move there. I'm not sure if he's just getting a little bit antsy right now or if he's just trying to cut a line.
Yeah, I would go more, cutting the line and giving room, giving space more than anything, Chuck.
You can see the view from Murray's car here with his teammate Austin Reedy right in front.
Man, such a solid, just single file line there. And you see that car back just about, I'd say, second and a half behind this front 4 group here. And he's just out in no man's land. He's stuck between being in the draft and being back too far. And these guys here just taking it easy, single file. They're on a Wednesday night cruise and not worried about nothing but that stage break.
Man, Brandon, you and I have both been in leagues where they have these all-star races, and it ends up being a caution fest because nobody really cares about what happens in an all-star race. There's no real points available or anything. It's more just for pride and fun and that sort of thing. So it turns into a caution fest, but these guys really actually want to stay out there and win this thing.
I think it goes back. I want to give another shout out to the guys at Paints by Night putting the money on the line. These guys want to be clean races tonight, Sean. They want to walk out of here with that money and have a little notoriety while doing so, making the paint schemes look good, the sponsors on board, the numbers, their teammates, all of those things, man. They want to have that perfect race, even though, as you said, sometimes you'll see an all-star race get a little crazy. And I think the craziness is coming with about 30 to go, so I don't think we've left it out to dry. But I think right now they're hoping they can make it, hey, just one more lap without having an incident point. Maybe we'll take home some cash.
We don't quite know what those incident points look like. Our scoring does not keep track of that. We'll know at the end of the race. But you can bet that these front 4 cars are pretty clean right now.
Yeah, and I think it'll stay that way. Still a lot of racing left to go. But, it could change in just a quick second here. I think the biggest thing in the corners that I run into when I'm driving Chicagoland, when you get down to it, and you're going down into that corner on the bottom, it's so easy to clip that apron. And you clip the apron, you either spin to the left or you wash to the right. And if you're close or inside of another car, that could be a tremendous danger.
Well, we just got word. Steven Gross, the 00 car, the reason he is off the track, he lost his internet on lap 9. So we apologize for that, Steven. We wish you were back out here, but we understand sometimes technology just fails us.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the most frustrating thing. You know, you wait all week, you get ready, you get hyped up, you're in race mode, and then something happens with the internet. You're just kind of on the other end of that. So we hate that for the 00 car, and hopefully everything will work out for him. And big bounce back next week. Not really have to worry about those internet issues anymore, Sean.
All right, Tyler Murray taking the lead out there away from his teammate Austin Reedy. And you got Kyle Benson still hanging up there with this team, even though he's not a member of the team. He is still hanging in there having a good time.
Yeah, and I think he's just playing equalizer right now. I kind of, you know, the more we went along here and I've really kind of thought about it, I like the strategy of this 78. You know, he's back about 5 seconds off of the leader. And if we kind of ride along with the 78, it sounds almost like he's saving all kind of fuel back there. I mean, he's not really got a whole lot to worry about. He's not in danger of going a lap down. But it seems like he's saving quite a bit of fuel in that machine. Obviously knows at lap 150 we're going to get a caution no matter what.
This is what it sounds like on his car right now, or inside of his car. And keep in mind that these guys were running 29-second laps a little bit earlier in the race, and he's running a 31.64 last time around. So he is definitely taking his time. Now, everybody else is falling off a little bit too, but, you know, here he is. And I think you may be right. I think he might be saving something.
I think he knows he's on an off strategy, and just running with those leaders up there is only going to make his, you know, it's going to make his hole deeper that he's digging. So right now he's kind of just got to ride, bide his time, see if he can stay clean, and if he gets a caution, come in, top off on fuel. But if not, he doesn't want to be super far off cycle, especially since we would imagine he's not going to take a set of tires here. So he's not going to gain up the time that he would normally gain if he was off cycle. However, he could also be playing it on the other end, that he gets in, he pits early, and he tries to just put enough fuel in that car at the end to win this stage.
Man, that might get really, really interesting. But, you know, he's still 5 seconds off the pace right now. Up front, Tyler Murray still leading this race.
And those guys up there, you know, the teammates in the top four, the three of the top four up there, they're feeling good about their chances right now. They know that they've got their teammates surfaced to the front. They're not all spread out through the field. They're probably down there in their Discord chat, Sean, having a good old time.
Well, to those 10 viewers that are out there currently, we thank you guys for joining us here for the All-Star race here at Chicagoland for 4Wide Racing. My name is Sean Griffith. I'm here with Brandon Browning. Just watching this, we're in the second stage. It looks like we've got about 42 laps to go in this second stage before we get to a competition caution. And then we are going 30 laps all out, no cautions for the last stage.
I think you're going to see a whole – it's almost going to be like when we pitted stage 2, you're yanking all these drivers out of the car and you're putting new ones in. Because when it's 30 to go and you're bunched up for that final time, you can't ride like this. You can't allow, if you're the 5th place car, which as we sit right now looks like it's going to be Jaden Gimbel in the 12 machine, you can't let them break away like that. You've got to be on their bumper. And I think it's going to get wild and crazy before this one's over with.
Well, right now, everybody's just playing nice with each other, which that's okay. That's a good thing. You want good, clean driving out there.
Yeah, you got to – the biggest thing you're going to do is make it to stage 3. You know, that final stage, 30-lap shootout. And you don't get there by playing dirty early. You know, I think we'll see – should be closing in here in the next little while on a green flag pit stop. I don't think we'll be able to stretch to the end. But that's where everything can change too, Sean. If you notice, you know, if you take a full fuel load, you may not need a full fuel load. I'm not sure where we're going to cycle through to this first set of pit stops under the stage here, but if you don't need a full fuel load, maybe you take a little bit less fuel, you get out ahead of these cars, and you just try to run your race.
and that may be what number 78 Jonathan Warren is doing. Is he's trying to calculate in his head, how much fuel do I need when I do stop here shortly, just to get to that competition caution, and then it has to be a green flag 4-tire pit stop. So once you do that, then the other part of that is just get the fuel in there and go. On that last caution, or that last pit stop, get in there, get the fresh tires, get the fuel, and get out of there as quickly as possible. So this is going to be all about track position, I think.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, and I'm surprised, that these leaders aren't saving more. When you look at the front four, they've got about a 2-second gap before they catch their next car. He's by himself, and the car behind him, James Holzer, he's by himself for about 3:10. Well, he's got a little bit of company, but we got a lot of cars spaced out here, and I'm not sure. It seems like they're still hammered down up here at the front. You see the 11 and the 8 side by side, still going at it, lap after lap. So they're not really saving anything. So right now, the hot seat might belong to that 78 car, who early in this stage we thought was out of it for a while.
And it looks like we have a Joseph in the chat room saying, and so not sure if that's our buddy Joseph DuPont out there. If it is, hello, Joseph, and if it's not, hello, Joseph anyway. So thanks for joining us here tonight. Definitely take a look at all of our races that we do. We have another race coming up on Friday night. It's the IBCS race at Daytona this week.
I think that one's going to get a little bit crazy and a little bit wild. It's the finals, Sean. The guys that aren't close are closing it in, and it's going to get chaotic. We start the playoffs after this week, so all the pressure is quite the opposite of what you're seeing here with these guys in that IBCS race on Friday.
Absolutely. It's going to be some restrictor plate racing, but right here, this is not restrictor plate, but these guys are awfully tight for a track like this.
Yeah, you're trusting the car, especially if you're the 4. You're trusting those 3 cars in front of you not to make a mistake. Or if you're anyone right now but Austin Reedy, you're trusting that the guys racing around you aren't going to make a mistake to put you in a bad spot. You've come this far. You're closing in on 2/3 of this race, or 3/4 of this race for being over. And you're just trusting that we've come this far, 115 laps. We haven't got a scratch on the car. You're hoping you can go about 40 more, 30 more to that stage break.
And we have our first taker on pit road. This is James Holzer. He is the points leader in the Cup Series, so he is diving in. And then right behind him, Brandon Gillis is going to jump into pit road as well, probably just to get fuel. I'm not sure. I see Holzer's car lifting up there, so he may be taking some tires. If that's his second set, that's a big mistake on his part, because you only get 2 sets in race.
I'm curious to see how that one's going to cycle out as well, unless maybe he took left sides earlier and taking a set of right sides now. I'm not sure, what the plan is for that machine there, but I know he obviously felt he was a little bit slower than the guys ahead of him, so we'll see how it all cycles out. Back to the chat, though, it does look like we're joined by the one and only Joseph DuPont. Joseph, when you need to join this series and show them what it's about, what it's like to be the driver on that beautiful racing rig you just built, buddy.
Yeah, Joseph DuPont, a very, very great road course racer especially, but he also races with us on Sunday nights in the Mid-South Madness League, which is an Xfinity league. So really good racer in his own right. But yeah, Joseph, if you're looking for another league, they're starting this league back up here in a few weeks. So this is one to look at.
Yeah, and I think you'll fit right at home showing these boys how to save tires and how to get it done Joseph DuPont style. But right now, man, the action is tight. We see that 4 car back there in the 4th spot starting to lose a little bit of touch with these leaders. Those teammates starting to work it out.
Well, these teammates keep on drafting off each other like this, and then, man, if Vincent does not get back up into that draft quickly, he's going to lose a lot of spots quickly. Look right behind him, Jay Gimbel, who is also another teammate of these guys up front.
Oh, man.
That was a little dicey.
Not sure what that was all about there, but I think we saw Tyler Murray just learn real quick why he's not going to use the apron the next time around. He come up a little further than I think he wanted to go there, and that's the bad part about these hot, mushy tires at this point in the race. You've used them up. You've used them up, Sean, and I see this time by. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to get nearly as low on that apron. So maybe something learned by that 8 car.
Learning your lesson. So we've got about 30 laps to go in this stage. And then we're going to have a competition caution, and then we are going to go absolutely crazy the last 30 laps. Now, keep in mind, when we get to lap 135 here, between laps 135 and the finish line, the only caution there is that competition caution.
And I think right now, you know, you've used up your tires. You don't have a choice but to drive it for what she's worth right now. The problem with that is these guys are so close and tight together, and they're allowing that car back behind them there to rejoin them in the 5th car in the pack. So hopefully no mistakes made here in about 13 laps or so as we try to wind down stage 2. Obviously, you've put in so much work to throw it away once the caution can come out, because that'll prove to be detrimental to these guys.
Yeah, and it looks like back there in 5th place, that's Jay Gimbel, and he is catching up here. And again, those top 3 cars are his teammates. And so I know they're not slowing down for him, but he is actually catching them all by himself. So that just shows how strong of a car he may have here.
Saw out of the corner of that shot there. That time Austin Reedy got a little bit loose going down into one. Almost tank slapped the back end into the wall, but he was able to gather it up, not lose too much time. Not sure if maybe he got those tires a little hot or saving something for further into this run here, but man, he got a little bit loose going into one that time, Sean.
Well, and this is one of those racetracks where if you get into that gas just a little bit too much, a little bit too early, that back end is going to come out from behind you, and then you're done.
Yeah, that's all it takes is just one rub of that right rear into the outside wall, and it's gonna mess up your entire night, especially now that we're almost 3/4 of the way through this thing.
Looks like Kyle Benson's going to go to the inside, take that 3rd spot. Again, not really trying to be too racy, I don't think. I think he's just trying to hang up here with these guys. But it looks like Reedy's just kind of going to let him go. We don't want to get too crazy just yet.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot lost. And you see that 88 car, though. He's coming back there. That white car in the back of that shot. I think those tires that he took, he's going to go up here and try to win this stage. And we'll see how that plays out for him later. But right now, it's got to be feeling pretty good. Actually, he's going to be coming to get his lap back. Actually, I do apologize there. He and the 78 both 1 lap down as of now.
That's right. That 78 car, the car that we've been talking about a little bit tonight, because he was up front there for a while, and then he fell off the pace a little bit, and now he is working to try to keep his lap. He has already been lapping. He might be working to try to get back in front.
Well, he's probably the biggest fan of that 88 car right now that's taking the 3 wide, trying to get his lap back the hard way. And the reason I say that is because right now, if that 88 clears these guys, takes his lap back, he will be the lucky dog on the racetrack.
Well, it looks like the 78 and the 88, they probably both got tires. I'm not sure. We know that the 88 got tires on that last pit stop because we saw him do it. But that 78, we're not really sure if he got tires or not, but he is definitely whipping around there really fast.
Yeah, the closing rate that they had on those guys, I would imagine maybe they both did take 4 tires. They're kind of running off and leading those guys now. But as you said, I wish we had a way to pull up the amount of tires that these guys had left, because I think, man, they're close up there, though. I'm wondering how many tires that they have left for the remainder of this thing and how that's going to shake out for them.
This is going to get really interesting. I'm not really sure how they're going to keep track of this, but I know a few people, I believe they've already taken 2 sets of tires, and you have to take a 4-tire green flag pit stop on the 3rd stage, and if you don't have any tires left, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, and I'm wondering what type of penalty we'll see for those guys that aren't able to do that, how that'll shake out and play into the end of this, because I can't imagine that these guys have raced 129 laps on 1 set of tires. Obviously, we know they took a set there, but that could affect the remainder of their race that is left.
Yeah, you can see, you can't even see those two in the picture anymore, so they broke away and they went crazy there. So once again, we know that Holzer took tires. We're pretty sure right now that Jonathan Warren took tires as well. So they are definitely on the move. They are trying to stay on that lead lap, and it looks like they will.
Yeah, at least I know they're still up there racing side by side, so they're on the lead lap at least for now. But obviously, what they don't want to do is come in contact with each other and kind of mess it up, because we're about 5 laps now from seeing no caution to the end of the stage.
Well, I don't really expect to see these top 3 cars really racing hard in those last 15 laps. They are teammates. They don't want to mess up their teammates' day. But the wild card back there might be Kyle Benson. Since he doesn't have a teammate up there, he has no reason not to go for it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing right now is if you can get up there, you can get around these cars. These are obviously the ones we've seen at the front, except for that 78 of Warren. He was up there a little bit earlier, but these are the cars that we've seen kind of casing the field. If you're the 4 car, you're winding down stage 2. You want to reach up there and try to grab all you can grab. And that's right now. It's the 3 cars that are teammates that are working together. So I think you throw a little bit of caution to the wind. Maybe you wait the last 10 laps and make a run at it and see what you really have left. Obviously, it's a little bit different situation, though, because when you come back and the next time you're racing these guys really hard, it won't be, 50 laps into a tire run, Sean.
Well, we got a newcomer in the chat right now. Nick says that he is rooting for Murray. And so Tyler Murray up front right now. That's a pretty good pick at this point, Nick.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to bet against him and his teammate, the 11 of Austin Reedy, right there behind them. They've been playing nice and racing hard all at the same time.
Looks like they're going to get a little bit of distance from their teammate Tyler Werner.
Yeah, it looks almost like he's either kind of giving up on racing so hard, or maybe his tires aren't holding on as good as we see our 2 leaders hold on here, because they're still bumper to bumper almost, a little bit of more than a car length between them, but the slightest slip in the corner and they're back to bumper. And you see kind of a 2x2 breakaway happening here. You got the 8 and the 11 of Reedy and Murray there. Then you've got right behind him, you've got the 4 car of Gimbel, followed by the 13 now. The 33 of Tyler Werner, and then Kyle Benson. Behind them, you've got a 2x2 and Craig Lockenslager and Jay Gimbel. So we've kind of got cars breaking away to where they almost have a drafting partner with them. But, we'll see how it shakes out as we get down through this stage.
Yeah, it looks like we are down to 9 people on the lead lap right now. So 9 drivers on the lead lap. Coming to, here we go, 15 laps to go in this stage. So no more cautions from here until the end, except for the competition caution.
Yeah, and I think that's going to get a little bit hectic for these guys, because now, we do see, as you mentioned, a little bit of strategy coming in here. The 8 car dives down pit road, man, but it's an unfortunate time back on the racetrack for the 78 and the 88 to be racing against each other like they are. They just about put each other in the wall there as we have everyone joining pit road.
Well, here's something interesting. Remember, Holzer and Warren pitted just a few laps ago. They're going to come around and they are going to take the lead.
They're going to have a major lead here. And I'd say if I'm the 88 or the 78, I'm hating the fact that here in just a few laps we're going to see a caution. Because, they're going to check out new tires. They've already pitted. They can likely make it to the stage. They ain't got nothing to worry about but that caution.
The only thing they have to worry about, again, is we're a little bit unsure on this. We were told there were only 3 sets of tires, including the tires that you started off with. And so if you've already taken 2 4-tire pit stops during this race, you're required to do another 4-tire pit stop during the last 30 laps, and they don't have any tires left, so they will get a penalty if that is the case. And so this is going to get kind of interesting. I'm not really sure if that is what happened or not, but I can't imagine that anybody made it 100 laps on tires.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any way. I think if so, you'd be running a much slower pace than we've seen. I was able to jump into a test drive here on my end and confirm that you do only have the 1 set plus 2 that said you start on plus 2 more. So we're able to hard confirm that is exactly the case, though.
So not really sure what's going to happen there. We were told that if you do have to, or if you're not able to make the green flag pit stop with the 4 tires, that you will have a stop and go penalty. So you'll have to stop in the pits under green for 30 seconds, which would be a disaster at this point.
Yeah, especially since when it comes down to that, you're going to see all these drivers on brand new tires for 30 laps. I'm hoping, we don't want to wish anything on those guys, but that may be the case of what we're seeing for the 88 and 78 here, because I'm not sure how they can even have went this fast now unless they really cambered those tires up and used up all they could get, Sean.
It looks like Nick in our chat is confirming, yes, it's a 30-second hold if you don't have tires for the final stop. So 30-second hold there. So, again, not really sure how they're going to administer that, but looks like that's Nicholas Vizzuti. So that's Nick Vizzuti is in our chat now. He says he's parked in the pits. So we appreciate you being in the chat there, Nick. Love seeing you racing out there. Wish you were back out there, but there will definitely be other races.
Yeah, and I think your time's coming, Nick. I think you're going to be, sitting in the hot seat here before too long in this series, being able to drive away and win one of these things, buddy. So we definitely want to thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us here to catch the chaos that's about to start here in about 9 laps.
Well, we do have James Holzer out front. Once again, he is the points leader right now in the Cup Series, and so he is very used to being up front.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing now is, you almost hate if you're James Holzer to know that in about 8 laps you're going to get a caution, 8 or 9 laps you're going to get a caution that's going to throw this away, because if it not for that stage 2 caution, Sean, I think it's tough for these guys to catch back up.
Well, we've dropped down to only 8 people on the lead lap now. Roman Long went a lap down a few laps ago, so we're now down to 8 drivers on the lead lap.
And I will say that I don't know that they have the laps, but they are quickly going to start closing in on Tyler Werner, especially if these tires are as new as we think they are. As of right now, though, he's got a little bit of a lead. I think he's going to be going into 3 right as our leaders are starting to get to 3 now. So a little bit of a gap for him away from going a lap down. But, man, we saw him, he got the opposite end of what you're seeing for Werner in that 33 car right now, because just a few moments ago, he was riding 3rd with his teammates up in the front, and now he's the last car on the lead lap.
Well, and really, I mean, he's just got to hold out for 6 more laps, because we're almost to lap 150. But then that's when all the strategy plays out. So when do you pit? Do you pit at the very, very beginning of the stage, or do you wait another 10 laps or so? I don't know. I mean, I think if I've got the tires, I pit very early. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if I'm the 2 leaders that we see right now, they still got a little bit more new in their tires than everyone else. So I think what I'd do if I'm, the 78 or the 88 of Poulter or Warren here, I think I'm going to pit a little bit later in the stage. However, if I'm Austin Reedy and my tires are obviously older than that of those guys up there, I think I'm probably going to go about 5 hard laps, and I'm going to bring that thing down pit road, go ahead and get my stop out of the way, and just give it all she's got until the checkered flag falls. So
now back behind these guys, we got Forrest Wynn, and you can see him coming around right now. So he is 6 seconds behind Jonathan Warren and James Holzer. And so, again, just depending on the tire situation, Forrest Wynn may be able to acquire this lead if he hasn't already used all of his tires.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's likely got a set left. We saw him really off cycle of what the leaders did there earlier in the run. He was way behind. He was one of those drivers that was far back. So maybe he stretched his tires a lot further than we've seen everyone else stretch theirs. That's what's really going to come into play, is who's got tires left running, when they take them, how early they take them. Because as you were saying, what you don't want to do, you don't want to come in and take those tires too early during that stage, because then you've worn them off when maybe, if you have Austin Reedy who goes 15 laps and splits it in half, then for 15 laps, he's going to be way faster than a guy that maybe pitted on lap 1 of the stage.
Well, 3 laps to go in this stage. Holzer out front. Warren right behind. Doesn't look like we're going to have much of a race to the finish line there. Oh, and it looks like Warren got into the wall a little bit. That's not good at all. Again, we do have 1 fast repair, and that might not be a bad idea to use it at that point.
Yeah, I think if you have any damage at all here, you're coming down to the final stage. The stage is going to start here in just about a lap and a half, 2 laps, but I think you're going to go ahead and use it just to be safe. I don't think you want to really take that with you when the race is over.
So we will find out really quickly, I think, after this caution, who did what. And so I think we're going to find out pretty quick who's going to have some stop-and-go penalties.
Yeah, and I think we're about to get pure chaos, too. I don't know that maybe drivers didn't understand the rules there and how this was all laid out, but I can't imagine that being the deal with the way things are sitting right now. But I tell you what, if by chance that 88 car still has a set left and he's not going to get a drive-through penalty, I think he's going to be okay, Sean.
Man, if he has a set of tires left and he's this far out in front already, just wait till he gets freshies on.
Yeah, that's going to be scary. I mean, he's we saw for the longest time he and the 78 were close to each other, but he really left off and drove away there. It was a little over 2 or 3 seconds, before the end of that stage there.
All right, and we are under competition caution, so we do have 30 laps to go. Now, after this competition caution, all drivers have to make a green flag 4-tire pit stop, and then at the same time, there are no more cautions after this. So it is a free-for-all. And I don't mean that to say that they're going to go out and wreck each other, but I'm just saying that if there happens to be an incident, nobody's stopping for that incident. So you just keep on going.
Trying to come up in my head really quickly with the strategy that I would go with. And the only thing that really comes to mind is you pit here, you take fuel, and you kind of let it burn off throughout this run. I think when you come down and you take your 4-tire pit stop, if it's not mandatory to take fuel, I don't think you take fuel, Sean. I think you go ahead and get it now, and you don't worry about it later.
I'm not sure if it had to be a full pit stop complete with fuel or not. I just know that it definitely had to be a 4-tire stop. And so you see Jonathan Warren coming down into pit road. Not really sure what the strategy is at this point. We don't have the capabilities to show us how many tires these guys have left, if any. And so that's one of the things that iRacing needs to work on is we need to get that capability in here. But out front, James Holzer is going to pace us around here for a little while until we figure out what is going on there. So right behind him, Forrest Wynn in the 77, in the number 77 Kodiak car there. And then Austin Reedy, who's basically been up front all race in the number 11. He is up in third. Tyler Murray, his teammate, in fourth. Craig Lautenslager, who started off on the outside pole, he is up in fifth. And maybe this is the time for him to make that run.
Yeah, and I think now, if any, is going to be the time. I was watching back the pit stop there from the 78 machine. Not sure if he's going to go with the strategy that I just mentioned, but he did pit fuel only there. So maybe, just maybe, he's going to come down, take no fuel, maybe loosen that car up. Obviously, we saw that he was a little bit faster there later in that run, but not quite as fast as the 88 machine. So we'll see what the strategy is for the 78, where that leaves him on the racetrack. But we're just a couple pace laps away, Sean, from the beginning of the madness. We haven't even really seen any madness now. It's been your typical race, giving and taking, riding and hanging out. But it's about to amp up in energy and get crazy.
Well, Brandon, for those viewers, and we've gained a few viewers along the way here, so for those viewers that don't know what's going on here, so the Paints by Night Clean Driver Award is out there and available to these drivers. So the Clean Driver Award is basically the fewest incident points that finish on the lead lap. And so you have to finish on the lead lap, but if you have the fewest incident points in the field, then you'll get $25. The next fewest will be 15, and the next fewest will be 10. And so if there is a tie, if there are multiple people out there with the same amount of incident points qualifying for this money, then obviously the person that is ahead is going to take that prize. So that is by Paints by Night. If you have any painting needs at all on your cars in iRacing, then Paints by Night is the guy for it. You can go to speedracingnetwork.com and you can grab some paints there, or at least make contact with Corey Knight to do that, or you can find him at Ashton Knight on Trading Paints.
Yeah, and if you guys are big into running custom paint schemes, definitely go to Trading Paints. Go to any, just about any scheme that you want. Type in the search bar Ashton Knight and make sure you give him a follow. He makes some beautiful paint schemes all over the place, man. I've been real satisfied with any of the paint schemes that Corey, or as it's listed on Trading Paints, Ashton has made for me. So definitely well worth the time and wait to see that beauty revealed once he gets it finished.
Well, and you could hear in that car. So James Holzer is cutting that engine off through the middle of the turn there. So he is trying to save fuel actively right now.
I think he's got a strategy in his mind that he's going with, and he really doesn't want to get too far away from it.
Well, it looks like we are going to get one more lap of caution here. But then, like Rachel Witt is saying in the chat room, let the chaos commence.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything short of that.
Well, granted, there is some money out there for the Paints by Night Clean Racing Award. From my understanding, there's no money on the actual race itself, and so that's what it makes it kind of fun. If you've already tapped the wall or something to that effect, I'm not saying you go out there and wreck people on purpose, but you're going to race a lot harder to try to get that pride back. And so that hard racing sometimes leads to some cautions and some wrecks and stuff like that. There's not going to be any more cautions, but there could be some wrecks out there.
Yeah, and I think the thing you can really get up and do here, like let's say Austin Reedy knows he's hit the wall, and I don't believe he has, but say he knows he's got a couple incident points there. Maybe that 88 car doesn't have those, Sean. What you want to do is race him as hard but clean as you can down into the corner. Maybe have him make a mistake that's going to cost him some incident points.
So while we have time, and we're talking about James Holzer just a little bit here, so we'll go back to the Cup standings really fast. So James Holzer first. Look who is in second, Austin Reedy. So these guys, they've got a history in this league, and it looks like they're going to go at it one more time.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any give up here, man. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. You've got different strategies. Each one of these guys that we see out here racing for this win have a different strategy than the guy next to him, the guy in front of him, and the guy behind him. It's about to be pure chaos. And I think here, when it comes down to it, you're racing for money. However, you're racing for the win here too. So if you're the teammates, that we saw running together earlier, maybe you don't tell your teammate what your exact strategy is, but this time we're going to see the late dive for the pace car. The final stage, 30 laps remain, less than 30 laps, and we're under green hard on the loud pedal. It's James Holzer in that 88 machine taking us back to the green flag.
He's going to jump way out front. Austin Reedy back there on the inside. Looks like he is going to put some pressure on Forrest Wynn there for second.
Austin Reedy spamming in the chat, hitting in. So we're about to find out. Kyle Benson going to join him, I believe, this time. So we'll see how many of these cars, the 88, the 11, the 8, all tight, man.
Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Oh, a wreck on pit road. And remember, no caution. So they've just got to get right back out there at it. That is not going to cause very many friendships out there.
No, and I tell you who's sitting right now licking his chops. He's excited of what just took place there. That's that 78 machine. He was nowhere near that incident. He's actually racing with Forrest Wynn for the lead in this thing right now. And maybe those guys have their fast repairs. Hopefully they haven't had to use them. But if you don't have your fast repair there, man, that's going to hurt.
Definitely. And so here we go. Forrest Wynn out front. We'll see what kind of pit strategy is going on there, but a wreck on pit road. Now, it looked like people got out of it pretty quickly. It wasn't a horrible, horrible wreck, but there is just enough there to throw your car out of whack.
Well, there's just enough there to cause some incident points to take you out of that money, too. If you've got 3 guys out here on the lead lap that haven't lost their zero, their goose egg, so to speak, on their incident points, you hate to see incidents like that. I know I saw the 8 car trying to give room and the 11 car giving room to the 88, who was a little bit slower than those guys on pit road and maybe braked a little bit early. But overall, it could have been a lot worse than what they were handed there.
So it looks like the 77 of Forrest Wynn is going to come into the pits. It looks like the 78 is going to try to too. Ooh, that was almost pretty bad itself.
Yeah, that was a late decision by the 78. I think maybe, the 99 just squeaking it in there. We'll see if that turns into a penalty as well. But, man, he locked him up getting down. These drivers, you could tell that they all want it, man. We've seen such clean, beautiful racing, and all of a sudden just a big change up there.
And as we cycle back through, James Holzer will get back on the lead, currently in fourth, but he's going to come around while the other guys are in the pits, and he will take that lead. Right behind him, Kyle Benson putting on a little bit of pressure, and Tyler Werner up there moving into fifth position, which will quickly turn into second position as they come around.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing to note here is we saw that 33 car who was teammates with the 11 and the 8. You know, he was about the third best car on their team early in the run. But because of that incident on pit road, all of a sudden he's leading the way. He's carrying the banner for those guys. So kind of a crazy turn of events here. We knew it'd be chaos, but not quite what we meant. However, Sean, I want you to bounce just a little bit ahead there. That 78 machine, Warren going to hold on to it after that incident. So they're going to have to run him down here.
Well, it looks like he got back up to speed a little bit quicker than we thought he would. And so he is out in the lead, 0.6 of a second ahead. So I don't think Holzer's going to let him go, though.
Not really sure. I want to go back and check something here. I noticed a big difference between that 77 car and that 78 car. So we're going to see what happened to both of those guys if we can here. I'm going to watch and just see.
Going back a little ways. So we've got Benson and Werner battling out for third and fourth right here. So Benson was that car that was up there, up front with the pack of 4 or 5 cars, all from the same team. And so he was holding his own, and now here he is holding his own up front.
Just an update on the 78 and the 77. The 78 made and executed a perfect 4-tire stop. The 77, though, it looks like, not sure what happened to the Forrest Wynn machine, but he actually held on pit road quite a long time after everything was said and done. So not sure what went away there, but obviously threw away a good run if he was maybe speeding on pit road or something like that. But yes, as you said, Kyle Benson just outside of reach right now. And kind of back to what we saw late in stage 2, it's going to be the 78 and the 88 up front. One trying to run down the other. The 78, not really as much damage as the 88. Looking like he's got a little bit of front end nose damage there. So coming down to the end of this one here, Sean, who do you think's got it to the end?
Man, right now, as long as Jonathan Warren made that 4-tire pit stop and he had the tires available to him, then he's in the catbird seat, man. I don't think that Holzer can catch him right now. I think he's starting to pull away just a hair.
I'm going to go a little bit crazy here. I'm going to say Kyle Benson in that 4 car. I think he's done enough riding back here. I don't think he's content with third where we've seen him in second, fourth. He's done a lot of riding behind guys just taking it easy. So I think somehow, some way in the final 15 laps of this thing, Kyle Benson's going to run down our leaders and take the checkered flag first.
Well, he definitely has the opportunity. We're coming up on some lap traffic here, so that might play a little bit of a part. Looks like Warren's going to get around him just fine.
Man, that got a little bit dicey there, though.
Oh, the lap traffic is spinning. I want to say that was Cody Ivey. Yeah, he got a little sideways there.
And he just clipped that apron and was holding on to that rocket ship.
Oh, you can see how loose that. Oh, look at that. That is such a loose car. Almost uncontrollable right now.
Yeah, not sure. Maybe threw the kitchen sink at it, so to speak. But obviously made that car a touch looser than we've seen all night. But, man, we're starting to see a race up here in the front. Oh, the 88 off pace. Not really sure.
Oh,
looks like the 88 has just blown up, maybe?
He definitely has some engine trouble. He is going to get down into the pits. But I don't think he has any tires left. I mean, and he might have a fast repair left, maybe. I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
matter.
I think that's going to come from that damage that we saw on pit road there. Maybe pushed it in, and when you're racing for the win like that, you're not really looking down at the gauges and saying, man, I'm getting a little hot here. You're just holding the pedal down as much as you can hold it, turning as left as you can turn it, and just praying that it makes it to the end. And unfortunately for that 88 car, it did not, Sean.
No, and that's going to be a disappointment for him. But Jonathan Warren out front now with a 0.7 second lead over Benson, who is your little surprise pick here. So we have a little bit of a chance. I mean, if he can get caught up, then Benson might have a good run. Oh, he scrapes the wall.
Yeah, that's not how you want to do it there, just kind of reaching out and tagging the wall. I do like the way that Jonathan Warren and the 78 cars ran this entire race, though. I was hoping that Benson, pulling for the underdog a little bit, close the gap. But it almost seems like he's kind of used his stuff up early, because we see the 33 of Tyler Werner there kind of closing back in on him. So maybe a new second place comer, moving forward here. But obviously, the only thing Jonathan Warren's worried about is how close they get. The thing that he's going to want to see behind him is that 4 and the 33 side by side.
Just keeping an eye on our chat here. Rachel Witt's not very happy with Holzer blowing up.
No, I definitely think he had closed the gap back down on the 78, and they would have duked it out. Maybe that would have been the 4 shot to get up there, but we're going to see the 4 slide back to 3rd. Hate to see that, though, for James Holzer in that 88. He played a pretty fantastic strategy, but none better than the 78 car, Jonathan Warren, right now with 10 laps to go. Avoided all the chaos. Rode at the back most of the race, kind of saved his stuff, saved his race car. And from my guess, maybe about to come out of here with likely a $25 win and a race win, Sean.
Well, he is at 1.75 seconds and opening at this point, so it doesn't look like anybody's going to catch him, but we still got 9 laps. You never know what's going to happen, but with no cautions, if he just keeps it clean, he is going to take home the victory here at the All-Star race.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing right now is the key word there in the sentence that you just gave was clean. The only person right now with no cautions that can beat the 78 car is the 78 car. So he's closing in on 2 seconds. He's got Tyler Werner in the 33, who's a good ways back. Benson's already over 2.3. There's no need to push it too much here. Just kind of hold on to your stuff, take care of what's left, and win this thing.
Looks like, and again, he was at 1.7 seconds. Now he's at almost 2 seconds after just one more lap. So he is opening, and he's opening quickly.
I think the one thing that I want to know from this 78 driver is how many laps did he run on a set of tires before he changed them. I went back and saw that 4 tires were taken under this final stage. So that means at some point he split 2 sets of tires and went at least 75 laps once. That is pure madness by the driver of this 78. But now as we set this time by with 6 laps to go, it's obviously proven that he knew exactly what he was doing.
You can call him the mad genius, and that's really what happened. But man, what a great race strategy, and we thought there, around the end of that first stage that he was going to drop back and he wouldn't have a chance, and here he is out front by 1.64 seconds. It looks like Tyler Werner's kind of catching up a little bit. Not sure if it's going to be enough, though.
Yeah, you've almost got to the point where you're going to need, he's sitting at 1.6 with 5 to go. He's going to need more than 3/10. He's going to need 3/10 to catch, but more than that to try to get by him. Obviously, he only needs to get to the back bumper, but I think it's just too little too late, unless that 78 oversteps and makes a boo-boo, so to speak. He steps it out too far, and that's it. Now just looking in turn 3 back to 1.7 and growing a little bit. So maybe that's all that the Werner machine back there had left.
Well, and it looks like it is Jonathan Warren's race, and this is almost going to be some victory laps here for the next 4 laps because nobody is challenging him. I don't see that he's got too many. He's got a lap car coming up, I believe. I'm trying to figure out who that is. I want to say I'm not 100% sure who that is up front, so we will have to find out.
It's going to be Debbie Hutchins.
That is Debbie Hutchins. So
in the 82 machine.
And she has raced very clean. She has stayed out of everybody's way as she's getting lapped. So I don't see her doing anything too crazy here to ruin this race. But Jonathan Warren, once again, just out front. Nobody around him for 1.7 seconds, which is more than enough here as long as he stays clean.
Yeah, and right now he might as well just make it look good. Wave to the fans. Let them all know. Thank you for coming in support. Because unless something crazy happens, we're going to see here just 2 more laps. That guy in that 78 machine, Jonathan Warren, has executed a perfect strategy throughout the night.
And he does pass Debbie Hutchins cleanly. And so he has nothing but blue skies and nice asphalt in front of him. He is going to take the white flag this next time around.
Just watching here, looks like he took it real easy down into 4 that time. And obviously, it's allowed the 33 to get a little bit closer, but he's using just what he has to. White flag in the air. Jonathan Warren, cruise control, no mistakes. Just 2 more easy corners after this one right here. And you've put together a championship caliber race there, my friend.
So here he comes, Tyler Werner. He's closing quickly. He's going to make it to about a second, within a second there. But Jonathan Warren is going to take the checkered flag here at the 4 Wide Racing All-Star Race at Chicagoland.
Man, that was a strategy right there. The front to the back, to the front to the back, to the front, and driving away. Such a beautiful drive between that 78 machine.
Great drive. A lot of great fun tonight. A lot of good, clean racing tonight. It was surprisingly cleaner than I thought it would be.
Yeah, and especially with a little bit of money on the line, you had to be clean or you didn't win it. And I think they've done an excellent, excellent job of exactly what they needed to do.
So it looks like everybody's going to clear the track and give that to Jonathan Warren. And he's going to possibly burn it down here.
Just going to double check real quick here and look.
There he goes, burning it down. Great race by Jonathan Warren.
So actually, just to clarify with you, as he burns it down here, with him having, let's say hypothetically that our winner had 2 incident points and second place had 0. Does that mean second place takes home the $25?
It does. It is whoever has the fewest incident points that is on the lead lap.
So I'm going to let you know right now, first place on the racetrack to take home the money was going to be Tyler Werner with 0 incident points. Our leader, Jonathan Warren, looks like he's got 2 scored right now. So we'll see how that all plays out. But maybe the race winner not taking home the cash here tonight.
And if I remember correctly, I think he did scrape the wall at one point. And that could be it right there. But so it sounds like Tyler Werner is going to take home our top prize for the Clean Racer Award. But Jonathan Warren is burning it down on the track right now. He is our race winner. Tyler Werner in second, Kyle Benson in third, Craig Lautenslager in fourth, Tyler Murray in fifth, and then the league owner director is Roman Long in sixth.
We've got Austin Reedy in 7th place. James Holzer, after a strong run, is going to bring us home 8th. Forrest Wynn in 9th. Brendan Gillis in 10th. Debbie Hutchins stayed and ran a clean race. Made sure she stayed out of everybody's way. He's going to bring us home 11th. Cody Ivey, 12th. Jay Gimbel, and we saw him duck out a little bit early in 13th. Nick Vasuti, we saw him in the chat earlier in 14th. And Stephen Gross with the internet issues is going to round us out 15th, Sean.
Oh, man, what a fun race tonight. A nice, fun format as well. So we really enjoy having all these racers out here and having a good time. We wish everybody the best of luck in the next few weeks to finish off your series. And once again, if we have any iRacers out there that are not in this league already, they will be restarting this league here in a few months, and they're going to get right back at it. It sounds like they're going to have a truck league and a cup league. So a lot of fun, a lot of good racers out here. So please be sure to join 4Wide Racing. Get out here and show us that you got it. So, but for tonight, again, my name is Sean Griffith. For Brandon Browning, we are signing off. Everyone have a pleasant evening and a great weekend coming up. Good night.